My name is Jessica Miller, and if you had asked me 5 years ago what I thought about stepping outside my comfort zone, would have laughed and told you it wasn't necessary. I believed life was safest and happiest when things were predictable, structured, and under control. I loved my small town in Oregon, my teaching job at the middle school, and my quiet evenings filled with books and tea. But life has a funny way of shaking us up when we least expect it. In my case, that shake-up came from my younger sister, Emily. Emily and I had always been close, but we couldn't be more different if we tried. Where I was steady and careful, Emily was bold and adventurous. Where I spent my weekends grading papers and gardening, Emily was hosting events in Portland, networking with strangers, and chasing big city dreams. People often said she was the fire to my water. And I guess they were right. One summer evening, she came back to our hometown to stay with me for a week. She just finished organizing a huge charity gala, and she claimed she needed to detox from chaos. That we sat on my front porch sipping iced tea, listening to the crickets hum in the distance. Emily leaned back in her chair and sighed. Jess, you live in another universe compared to me. I smiled. And you live in a permanent state of overdrive. That's why you're here, to calm down a little, she smirked. Or maybe I'm here to wake you up. That was Emily, always teasing, always pushing. Come on, she continued, when was the last time you did something spontaneous? Yesterday, I said, I planted tomatoes instead of cucumbers. She groaned dramatically. Jess, that's not spontaneous. That's farming. I laughed, shaking my head. What do you want from me? Her eyes twinkled. One night. That's all I'm asking. For one night, let's swap roles. You live like me and I'll live like you. I stared at her, half amused and half horrified. Swap roles? You mean like I pretend to be you? Exactly, she said, sitting up straighter. You'll step into my shoes, try out my kind of night, fun, bold, adventurous, and I'll step into yours. Quiet, responsible, grounded, just for one night. What's the worst that could happen? I thought about it. On the one hand, it sounded ridiculous. On the other hand, Emily had a point. I had been feeling stuck. Every day felt the same. Maybe one night of change wouldn't kill me. Finally, I sighed. Fine. One night, HR grin stretched from ear to ear. You won't regret it. The swap, Emily wasted no time setting the rules. She grabbed a notebook and scribbled 2 lists. On mine, she wrote, 1, wear something bold. 2, go to the community event tonight and introduce yourself as me. 3, say yes to opportunities. On hers, she wrote, 1, cook dinner for your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson. 2, stay home and read a book. 3. Go to bed before 10 p.m. I couldn't stop laughing. So, I have to impersonate you and you have to impersonate me. That's the deal, she said. Then you'd better wear one of my cardigans, I teased. Gladly, she replied, her mischievous grin never fading. My transformation. The first challenge came with my wardrobe. Emily marched into my closet and immediately groaned. Jess, do you own anything that isn't beige? I shrugged. Comfortable clothes matter. She rummaged through her suitcase and pulled out a bright red dress. This tonight, you're me. I stared at the dress like it was a foreign object. Emily, I can't wear that. People will think I'm trying too hard. That's the point, she said. Trust me. So, reluctantly, I slipped into the dress. When I looked in the mirror, I almost didn't recognize myself. The woman staring CK looked confident, bold, even a little daring. Maybe Emily was on to something. Emily's transformation. Meanwhile, Emily threw on one of my soft cardigans, tied her hair back neatly, and held up a library book. "Look at me," she said in a mock-serious tone. "I'm Jessica Miller. My idea of a wild night is alphabetizing my spice rack." I rolled my eyes, laughing despite myself. "You're impossible." "Go have fun, Jess," she said. "And remember, say yes." The night out, the community event at the park, was something I usually attended as a quiet observer. Families gathered. There were booths selling homemade crafts. Kids ran around with balloons, and a raffle was held to raise money for the local library. Normally, I'd stay on the sidelines, smile politely, and leave early. But tonight, I was Emily. I walked in, introduced myself to people as Emily Miller, the event planner, and forced myself to stay engaged. To my surprise, people seemed drawn to my energy. A group of volunteers asked if I'd help sell raffle tickets. My first instinct was to decline, but then I remembered the rule: say yes. Before I knew it, I was running around with a basket of tickets, laughing and chatting with strangers. "Come on, folks. It's for the library, you can't say no to books," I said, sounding more like Emily than myself. People bought tickets, and one man even said, "You're a natural at this. You should do it more often." For the first time in a long while, I felt free. Not confined by my own cautiousness, but alive in the moment. Emily's night in. Meanwhile, Emily knocked on Mrs. Patterson's door. My elderly neighbor, widowed for years, always welcomed company. "Jessica, dear." Mrs. Patterson greeted warmly. "What a nice surprise." Emily smiled sweetly, doing her best impression of me. "I thought I'd cook dinner with you tonight." Mrs. Patterson's face lit up. "Oh, that would be lovely." Together EY made pasta and garlic bread. And Mrs. Patterson told Emily stories about her husband, about raising children, about life in the old days. For once, Emily wasn't the center of attention. She was Lise. "Isn't boring. It's grounding." I needed that. I grinned, and I needed this. I told her about my raffle adventure and how much fun I'd had. We laughed together, realizing how much we had underestimated each other's choices. The lessons. The next morning, over pancakes, we talked for hours. Emily admitted she realized how valuable it could be to slow down. "I've been running at full speed for years, Jess. I forgot what it feels like to just sit and listen." And I admitted that trying her life, even for one night, made me feel braver. I realized I hide behind routines. Maybe I need to start saying yes more often. It was supposed to be just a one-night swap, but the lesson stayed with us long after. I started volunteering for more community projects, signed up for salsa classes, and even agreed to give a speech at school, something I'd never had the courage to do before. Emily, on the other hand, started carving out quiet evenings for herself. She began journaling, reading more, and finding peace and simplicity. We didn't become each other, but we became better versions of ourselves. Closing reflection. Looking back, I realized that one night changed everything. Not because I became Emily or she became me, but because we both discovered there was value in stepping into Samuel.